Welcome to the Commander Crew, a Magic the Gathering Commander YouTube channel where we ask the question, who's your commander?
We want to thank you for watching our videos. You can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell notification icon.
You can also go to thecommandercrew.com to check out our t-shirts, masks, pet hoodies, and other Commander Crew goodies.
If you want to buy any of the cards seen in this video, be sure to click our TCG Player affiliate link in the show notes below.
Lastly, you can help us out by heading to our official Patreon page and becoming a direct supporter of the channel. Now let's
get to the video.
Oh no.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Chris from the Commander Crew, and it's Commander Seed 21 season. In this video, we are going to be upgrading the new pre-constructed decks and tweak them to a higher power. Though each deck right from the start has an incredible value, and with cards and amazing playthroughs, a quick update can take each deck to a whole new level. In these upgrades, I will be upgrading with a focus on the primary commander for each deck. For each update, we are going to take out 10 cards and replace them with 10 new cards with a budget of $20. Each pre-constructed deck costs so effectively, a quick budget of $20 will allow for new players to quickly and effectively update the deck to a whole new level. Now let's get to this deck upgrade with this 10 for 10 swap. In this upgrade, we have Qunatum Quandrix, a green and blue deck focused on doubling up tokens and creating fractals with no limit on their size. With a motto of math is magic, we will add up our board state to win and have a massive addition. The commander for this deck is Quandrix and Nev Twincasters. They are a 2/2 merfolk wizard for 2 green-blue that has Ward 2, and if one or more tokens will be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. This deck is basically allowing us to have doubling season in the command zone. Now it may only be for tokens, but having the ability from the command zone and adding blue will amass a board state more than the mind can even add up. Whether it's treasure tokens or creature tokens, the sum of it all will lead to our victory. First, let's talk about the cards we're going to remove. First, we have Orochi Archmage, which has nothing to do with the deck whatsoever. I don't even know why personally they even included this. We pretty much don't need to worry about things becoming unblocked, and there's no snakes to give +2/+2 to other than just Cassetto himself. Unless I'm missing something, I don't know why this isn't in the deck. And then we have Arashi the Sky Ascender and Dika Fractal Theorist. Arashi, again, I have no idea why this is in the command zone, or why this would even be in the command zone for this deck, or even in the deck in general. It doesn't really have anything to do with the deck. Yeah, it deals damage to target creature with flying, but there's way more effective options. And that leads to Dika. Basically with this deck, I'm going to remove everything with the fractals and focus solely on just upgrading to the token option. Dika is one of the first things that basically, again, with the whole unblockable thing, I just don't see any value in it. Then I would remove Oversimplify. 3 green-blue, basically exile all creatures. We're off to a good start, but then each player creates a 0/0 green and blue fractal, where its power and toughness is equal to the total number of things that have died. Yeah, I'd love to get my things to be exiled, but I don't want to give my opponent a massive creature. If I'm trying to exile the whole board, that's because it's too much power, and I don't want to give it right back. Next is Sequence Engine. 2 and a green for an X artifact you can tap thing, where you have to have a target creature card in your graveyard, which might not always happen, and then you create more fractals. Again, I'm not really understanding why the fractals are pretty much part of the deck, because yeah, it's tokens, but not the kind of tokens I want. Next we have Paradox Zone, which is kind of cool because you can make things over and over and over again, and it would be a little bit better in certain decks, but I'm just not feeling this deck. It's 4 and a green. When it enters the battlefield, you put a growth counter on it. At the beginning of your end step, you double the number of counters and then create an XX fractal. Again, like, you can make this a pretty expensive thing in the long term at all, but again, it costs 5 to start off, and that's not a really great start. Then there's Geometric Nexus, which whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, you put that many number of counters on it. And now again, that's any player, so if you're playing a very spell-heavy deck, where I guess your opponent's just playing instant sorceries like crazy, this can definitely add up, and it can come out of absolutely nowhere, because it's not just your own board state. But again, it's just the fractals, and I'm just not feeling it. Then there's Forgotten Ancient, 3 and a green for a 0/3. Whenever a player casts a spell, you put a 1/1 counter on it, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you can move any number of counters from it to another creature. Now, if we were playing a straight doubling season, now this guy is awesome. So basically, even if you throw into a Vorinclex deck, this is a pretty awesome card. I want to put a lot more focus on the tokens instead of the counters. And then we have Plaques Caster Frogling. Well, what's going on with this card? Graph 3? Okay, so yes, you can pay 2, a target creature with the 1/1 counter on it gains Shroud, which again, that can come in clutch, but back with this 1/1 counter synergy, it's just not feeling it with the token option I want to put in. Then lastly, there's a card I actually really do like, just not in this deck. It's Spawning Kraken, 5 and a blue for a 6/6 Kraken, and whenever a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent you control deals damage, you create a 9/9. Now, that's awesome, but again, this would be better in just a straight Kraken deck, because there's no way to basically get the damage in. Someone can just keep chumping this over and over again, and that kind of defeats the entire purpose, especially if you're putting 6/6 for a 6. If at least trample or some sort of evasion, that'd be nice, but just not there. Now let's talk about the cards that we want to add to the deck. Basically, like what I want to add to give this actual token strategy a true strategy. Great cards to start off with would be Reconnaissance Mission, 2 blue. Whenever a creature you control deals damage to a player, you may draw a card. It does have cycling too, but if we're going to create so many tokens, they're going to get in and we're going to draw so many cards. And again, with so many creatures, it leads to our next card, Binding Natha. It's the exact same thing, 2 blue. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. And then 1 in a blue tap it, creatures your opponents control attack this turn to Fable. That doesn't really have much to it, but it can come in clutch. But again, we're going to create a lot of tokens, we want to get a lot of draw off that. And it's awesome that it's a May ability, so we don't have to worry about decking ourselves out. Next, we have Awakening Zone for 2 and a green for enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token. It has sacrifice this creature and add a colorless. With our commander out, we're getting 2 of these in a single turn, and it's going to basically give us 2 free mana every single turn. That can be a massive way to swing in even further and even faster. And you have to even think about, like, the amount of tokens we get, you can just keep doubling. Just let these guys just sit and chill and just use all that mana. They can be chump blockers and they can be mana, and you're getting potentially 2 a turn. That's awesome. And then we have the card that absolutely everyone's going to put in this deck without even a thought. Avengers Zendikar, 5 green for a 5/5 elemental, and when it enters the battlefield, you create a 0/1 green and planet creature token for each land you control. And then landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 1/1 counter on each planet creature you control. We all know this is going in the deck. It's just one of those cards where if you're playing green and there's any slight form of tokens or even landfall or anything in that case, you're playing Avengers Zendikar. It amazes me how sometimes this card is not like crazy money. Yeah, it's around $6, but thank God Wizards keeps reprinting this card, because if they didn't, this card would be so expensive, just like Doubling Season. Avengers Zendikar is one of the best cards to put in this deck, hands down. Then we have one of my new favorite cards, Scoot Swarm, 2 and a green for a 1/1 insect, but as landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 green insect. Not bad, but if you control 6 or more lands, you create a token that's a copy of Scoot Swarm. Do not underestimate how fast this can get out of the hand, because once you have 6 lands and say you have your commander out there, you're going base, boom, you go from 1 to 2, but you're actually gonna get another one now, so you're going from 1 to 3. Then you're going, those 3 usually create 3 new ones, but you're gonna make 6. You go from 3 to 9. You're gonna be exponentially growing your board state, and no one's gonna know what to do at that point. It's gonna go absolutely insane. Scoot Swarm is one of those cards where, like, thankfully it's not that crazy expensive, because it's so powerful when you play landfall, especially when you start adding things that double up counters or double up tokens. This is definitely a card to look out for. And then there's a landfall staple, in my opinion, that's pretty cost effective for what it does. Zendikar's Royal, 3 green for enchantment with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 green elemental token. It's pretty straightforward. Landfall is definitely a thing you want to focus on as well in this deck, because you're going to be killing a lot of lands because you do have green. And with the fact that you can double the tokens, for 1 single land you can create 4 power off of 2 bodies. That's definitely going to put in some work, and you can actually play a lot of lands in a single turn and get a lot of power overall. The benefit of our commander is the fact that it's any token at all. So we're going to add Tamio's Journal for 5 colorless. At the beginning of your upkeep, investigate, which means you put a colorless clue artifact token on the battlefield with pay 2, sacrifice it to draw a card. Then if you sacrifice 3, you search your library for a card and put that into your hand. Now, in 2 turns, we can use that ability. So instead of having to wait 3 turns, now we waited 1 less turn to get any card on a tutor. And we can potentially do this over and over and over again. Tamio's Journal is definitely something that's awesome, because now we have the ability to have a little bit of extra late game draw, if not a tutor on a card that we could do every other turn. This is pretty awesome. I'm very thankful that the actual commander itself is not just creature tokens and it's any token. And now we have a split card, Repudiate and Replicate. Is Simic, counter target activated or triggered ability that can come in clutch, but then we have Replicate for 1 green, create a token that's a copy of target creature control. That makes a token of any creature on the board. So we can target our Avengers Zendikar. Then we create 2 tokens of that, and then create even more lands. Oh lord, that's gonna go out of hand. The fact I like it is because it creates a token that's a copy of any target creature you control. So it can be anyone in the deck, and you get so much more value off this. And again, even the other half can definitely come in handy and come in clutch if you need it. Now we have Second Harvest, 2 green for an instant. For each token you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. So we can double. We're gonna double, I think that's called. So if we are a commander route and then we double all our tokens, we're gonna create twice that many. We're gonna create so many tokens with the second harvest. This can basically be the win condition right then and there. Definitely a card you want to like wait to play out. You don't want to play it too soon. But even if you play it earlier in the game, if you have a lot of creatures out there or just the clue tokens or anything in that case, this can put in so much serious work. Lastly, we have Biovisionary. 1 green-blue for a 2/3 human wizard. At the beginning of the end step, if you control 4 or more creatures named Biovisionary, you win the game. I want to make tokens of this. I want to copy it. I want to win off Biovisionary. It's definitely just a niche way to win the game. You may not have the greatest way or chance of even getting it, but if you can copy this and have basically potentially win on a single turn, that's pretty awesome. I think Biovisionary is definitely an awesome card, especially if you have the option to copy things and create double that many tokens. It's definitely something you want to look into because people, they just don't see it coming. So it's definitely an awesome way to win. And there is my 10 in and 10 out for Qunatum Quandrix. With Adrix and Nev Twincasters. We all knew green and blue together were going to have an insanely epic commander. And again, with Adrix and Nev, we're basically having doubling season in the command zone. Yeah, they did it again. This deck is going to be absolute shenanigans and epic chaos, but an insane way to play out. I cannot wait to get this and start playing it up. Thanks for watching my $20 budget with the upgrade with 10 in and 10 out for the new 2021 Qunatum Precon decks. How would you upgrade this deck? What types of stables does this deck need to have added in, and what cards need to be taken out? I'd love to hear your comments and ideas in the comments down below. Please remember to like this video, hit the bell notification for future videos, and subscribe to the channel because it helps us out at the Commander Crew so much. Again, my name is Chris in the Commander Crew. Thanks for watching. Peace.